Ali radiallahu ta'ala an says the following. He says, لا راحة لحسود ولا إخاء لملول ولا محب لسيء الخلق. He says, radiallahu ta'ala an, that an envious person will never find rest. And a boring person will never have brotherhood. And a person of poor character will never be loved. Now, in our times today, people are tired. We lack, strong social bonds, the bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood. And people feel like they're deprived of love. They don't feel like they're loved. And so it's so bad that people start saying, love yourself, because they can't find anyone to love them. Ali radiallahu ta'ala an is giving the remedy of a lot of the social problems, or at least at the individual emotional level. Number one, you have to learn to get over your envy. Envy puts a person in a psychological, emotional state that eats away at them. And as Imam Ali radiallahu ta'ala an says, you will never find rest so long as a lot of envy is in your heart. Of course, as human beings, there will always be an amount of envy. That's pretty natural. But once it reaches a certain threshold, it becomes very unhealthy. And at that point, you have no one to blame but yourself. You need to take it upon yourself to get rid of that envy. And part of what we can do is, learn to accept Allah's qada and qadar. Learn to accept that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His wisdom sometimes gives to some people and doesn't give to other people. I'm sure we all know somebody who has a lot of wealth or has a lot of fame who doesn't deserve it. They're not of that level, but subhanAllah, somehow it came to them. Khalas ya akhi, it's qada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the qadar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah wants it for a certain reason. It could be in favor of that person, or it could be that person's demise. We don't know. Allah knows. But we need to learn to trust what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses for people, whether it's yourself or someone else. When you learn to see that everything is in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's control, and had Allah willed, it would not be the way you see it. But Allah willed it, and therefore He willed it based on His hikmah, His wisdom. There has to be a meaning behind it. You might see it, you might not see it. When you see it in that light, you bring ease to your heart. And when you add to that the fact that Allah is more merciful to you than you are to yourself, then we learn to appreciate what Allah has given us and what Allah withholds from us. Easier said than done, but it's something that we have to do. Or else we'll find ourselves with unhealthy amounts of envy in our hearts that will eat away at us. And you will never find rest until you learn to make peace with what's bothering you, until you learn to let go of other people. And you know what? To make this even, worse, is that somebody who's envious, right? Their life, their emotions are tied with other people. I mean, they've lost control of themselves. All that they feel, their reactions, the way they think, what they think about, is about another person. Your own interests have been demoted because an envious person is just focusing on the other person. So find peace by cleaning your heart and being of those who only want good and wish good for other people. The second thing that he mentions is a person who's boring will never find brotherhood. Socializing is a skill. Some people are good at it, some people are not so good at it. But what I think we can agree on is those who are good at it have become good at it because they practice the trade. They practice socializing. They were more social. They worked with people, they hung out with people, and so they developed the skills. Or maybe their parents taught them the skills. But either way, they weren't born with a natural ability to be friendly or to be funner to be around. And so somebody who finds themselves that they don't really have brotherhood, they don't have people close to them, well, maybe you have to look at yourself and you need to say, I need to develop the skills. I need to learn how to be more relevant to people's lives. I need to be more interesting to other people. And of course, there's a correct way of doing it, there's an incorrect way of doing it. We want the Islamic way, obviously. But we need to work on ourselves. In our era, it's all about everybody needs to accept me the way I am. Nuh-uh. That's not the way it works. You need to develop yourself in a way where you become relevant to other people, where you become important to other people, where your work interests other people. And as you can see, there's a common theme here. It has to be you. You have to work on yourself. Forget the woke culture. Forget this culture of, everybody has to accept me exactly how I am. No, that's not the way it works. And this leads to the third point. Somebody who has poor character will never be loved. Why would they? Why would they? Love is earned. And we as human beings, there are certain things we love, and there are certain things we despise. There are certain things that we find beautiful, and there are certain things that disgust us. And that appears in our character. If we lie, if we cheat, if we backstab, if we're not reliable, if we're not dependable, if we contradict ourselves, if we're two-faced, these behaviors are disgusting in the minds of human beings. Why would that person be loved? And any friendships that are there, they're friendships in that evil. Or they're friendships, they're not really friendships, they're actually there to benefit from one another. If you look at politicians, for example, do you think there are true friendships in politics? Very rarely. Rather, these people use each other as ladders in order for their own personal ambitions and goals. But a person who's generous, who's kind, who's optimistic, who is dependable, somebody who displays beautiful characteristics will be loved, because that is what is beautiful in the minds of human beings. So all three of these, as you can see, dear brothers and sisters, Ali radiallahu ta'ala is teaching us, it's all about you. Take responsibility for your life. Don't mope, don't sit there crying, nobody's going to help you. Why would somebody help you if you're not willing to help yourself? So work on yourself and know, as a Muslim, we have the resources to be the most lively of people, the most purest of heart of people, and the most beautiful in our character. Go to the Quran, go to the Sunnah, and inshallah you'll get more than what you expect. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for watching this video. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. If you found benefit in this video, then please like it, share with other people, and remind you of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, whoever guides somebody to good, then they get the reward of those who do that good. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. See you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.